Okay, now let's go back to where we are. So 4 to the third is 64. 2 to the sixth can be simplified. You take 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 64 again. So that's also 64 times x to the 24th power. Now we need to multiply the 64s together. 4,096. Okay, my next one. Got 3x to the negative 4th power. We need to simplify that expression. So again, everything's on top to start with. So you have a factor of 3 and a factor of x. Now both those get times by the ones get times by negative 4s, so they'd both be negative 4s. But we don't want to bring them straight over. We need to bring them here so that they can become positive 4. So 3 to the 4th, so 81. Then x to the 4th can just stay the same. So it's 1 over 81x to the 4th. Okay, next one. We've got 10, b to the negative 3rd, c to the 5th. Okay, so we have a factor of 10, a factor of b, and a factor of c. So 10's to the 1, b's to the negative 3rd, c's to the 5th. Okay, no parentheses, so we just write down the exponents. Now the 10 and the c I can take straight over, okay, because they have positive powers. But this b can't bring straight over. It's got to go to the bottom so it becomes positive 3. Then 10 to the 1st would be 10, then c to the 5th, b to the 3rd. Okay, next one. We've got a parentheses, and inside we got 2d to the 5th, e to the negative 2nd, and then negative 3. Okay, so you got a factor of 2, a factor of d, and a factor of e. Okay, so 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. On d, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. For e, negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. Now, you need to carry the e to the 6 straight over because it has a positive power, but then these two go here, so we can rewrite them as positive exponents. Okay, the only one I can simplify is the 2 to the 3rd. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2 would be 8. And you have e to the 6th and d to the 15th. Okay, next one. Okay, you've got you have a lot fraction already, so 2e to the negative 4th, g to the 5th, and in the denominator you got e to the 5th, g to the negative 3rd. So on top you got a factor of 2, a factor of e, a factor of g. So 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, and for the e, 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, and then g is just 5. So the top is dealt with. Now the bottom I have a factor of e and a factor of g. So we got a 5th and a negative 3. Now you need to try to cross out the bottoms. You can cross out the e, and then I go subtract 5 from the negative 4. So negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. Now cross out your g, and you need to subtract negative 3 from 5, not 3, negative 3, and that's 8. When you subtract the negative, the original number becomes higher. Okay, so I'm going to bring the g to the 8th straight over, but the 2 and the e have to go to the bottom so they can be rewritten with positive exponents. So that's 4 and 9. Okay, so 2 to the 4th, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 16. E to the 9th. Okay, and that's that. Now we're going to review how to write numbers in scientific notation. Okay, So 0 point, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 zeros after the decimal, and then a 58. It's 8 zeros. Okay, now you need one digit in front of the decimal, and that cannot be a 1. Okay, so if I move it this way, I'm getting nowhere. If I move it this way, I'll eventually come to that 5. Only one digit can be before the decimal, and that one digit can't be a 1. So there we are. So 5.8 times 10. And I have moved that decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And I moved it to the right. So if I move it to the right, the exponent is negative. So negative 9. Okay, my next one, we have 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 zeros. Okay, now the decimal's at the end if you don't have it. You need one digit in front of the decimal, and it cannot be a 0. Only one digit can't be a 0. Right now you got a bunch of them, so move it. Only one number before it cannot be a 0. So there you go, 6.0 times 10, and I just moved that decimal 12 times to the left, so left is going to be positive, 6.0 times 10 to the 12. Okay, 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 7. Again, you need you have one digit in front, but it's a 0. You need to move it so you have one digit and it's not a 0. Okay, right there, so 7.0 times 10, and I just moved that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the right, so it's negative. Okay, 558, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, decimals here, and you need to move the decimal. Only one number in front of it can't be a 0. Okay, so it's 5.8 times 10, and I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places, and I moved it to the left, so it's positive. Okay, now here's what the new thing you're going to learn today, okay? Simplify each expression, write each answer in scientific notation. It's not that hard, okay? You have a parentheses with 6 times 10 to the 4th, and then right next to it a parentheses 4.8 times 10 to the 2nd. You need to put a times dot between the parentheses. Here's how I do this. First, I take 6 times 4.8, and then at the same time, I'm going to take 10 to the 4th times 10 to the 2nd. So 6 times 4.8, that's what we do first, okay? And that's going to be 28.8. So I write that down. Then I write times 10, and then I figure out the 10 by adding the powers, 4 plus 2, and that's 6. Now, you got to do one extra thing. Right now you have 2 digits in front of the decimal. You can only have 1, so you move it once. You moved it once, so we put a 1 there, and if I went to the left, I add 1. So it's going to be 2.88 times 10, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, and that's pretty much how you do these. So we got 0.6 times 10 to the power of negative 3, and then you got 0.2 times 10 to the negative 5th. So again, first circle those and times those, 0.6 times 0.2, and then we'll also take 10 to the negative 3rd times 10 to the negative 5th. Okay, so 0.6 times 0.2, so it's 0.12. Times 10, then I add the powers, and that's 10 to the negative 8th. Add negative 3 plus 5, negative 5. You add those powers. So it's negative 8. But again, you have that problem. You need one digit in front of the decimal, and that can't, right now you have one digit, but it's a 0. Now I have one digit, it's a 1, so 1.2 times 10. And we moved it right, so this will be 1, and we'll minus 1. So negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Okay, next one, we have 0.5 times 10 to the power of 4, and then 6 times 10 to the power of negative 14. Okay, so first we take 0.5 times 6, and then we take 10 to the 4th times 10 to the negative 14th. So 0.5 times 6 is 3. We're going to put 3.0 then if it's 3 times 10, and then 4 plus negative 14, you add 4 plus negative 14, and 4 plus negative 14 is going to be negative 10. And we don't need to do anything else because I have one digit and it's a 3, so that's good, okay? I don't need to move the decimal, I don't need to change my exponent. Okay, then the last one we got 0.6 times 10 to the power of negative 8, and then 0.3 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Okay, 0.6 times 0.3, and then 10 to the negative 8th times 10 to the negative 3. So 0.6 times 0.3 is 0.18, and then with the tens, we add the negative 8 to the negative 3. You add those, don't times them, okay? So negative 8 plus negative 3 is negative 11. Sorry, the spiral, I hate that. So you have 0.18 times 10 to the power of negative 11. Now, you need to move the decimal because you have one digit, but it's a 0. That won't work. So I move it once, and then since I moved it right, I minus 1. Again, maybe we'll write a note. Right is minus, left is plus. Okay, so it's 1.8 times 10 to the power of negative 12. Okay, now the game changes a little bit on the next one, okay? You have 2.6 times 10 to the 14th divided by 1.3 times 10 to the 4th. You're going to do this similar to what you did on the last one, but instead of multiplying these, you're going to divide. And then with your 10 to the 14th and 10 to the 4, we'll explain what we do about that. So 2.6 divided by 1.3 is 2. Put that as 2.0 then. Now, when you're dividing with exponents, you cross out the 1 on the bottom and then subtract it. So that would be 10 to the 10th. So I have 2.0 times 10 to the 10th. Okay, there we go. And I'm good. I circle it because I have one digit and it's a 2. It's not a 0. So that's good. Okay, next one, we have 4.5 times 10 to the negative 7th power, and then we have 9 times 10 to the negative 3rd power. So we take 4.5 divided by 9, and then 10 to the negative 7th divided by 10 to the negative 3rd. Okay, so I divide 4.5 by 9, 0.5. Remember with the tens, we minus negative 3. So negative 7 minus negative 3. It's negative 4. Okay. So we write down 0.5 times 10 to the negative 4. Now, do we have the right number? No, we have a 0 in front of the decimal. That can't work. So we need to move it so that it's there. And I have 1, and if I move it right, I minus. So I now have 5.0 times 10. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Okay. Next one, we have 4.2 times 10 to the 8th divided by 2.1 times 10 to the 11th. So first I divide the 4.2 by the 2.1. Just like on the last problems I was multiplying it. Now I'm just dividing. And then I'm also going to divide these. So 4.2 divided by 2.1 is 2. So that'd be 2.0. Good, I like that. There's one digit in front, it's not a 0. Then we subtract 11 from 8, and 8 minus 11 is negative 3. So I write 2.0 times 10 to the negative 3. And I don't need to move the decimal because I have one digit in front and it's a 2. Okay, 5.1 times 10 to the negative second, and then you have 1.7 times 10 to the negative fifth. So first I divide 5.1 divided by 1.7, and then 10 to the negative second divided by 10 to the negative fifth. So 3, that would be 3.0. Then with the tens, we minus negative 5 after the negative 2. That would be 10 to the third power. So there I have it, 3.0 times 10 to the third power. And that can be my answer because I have one digit in front of the decimal and it's a 3, it's not a 0.